You don't suddenly become mature. You just suddenly realize that you already have. Whether it's the idea of the Odyssey years or those viral claims that your brain is basically useless until you're 25, I think they're both a gentle way of oversimplifying things. For one, your brain never really stops changing or rewiring throughout your life. And let's be honest, you don't blow out the candles on your 25th birthday and suddenly have a movie moment where you magically know exactly how to live the rest of your life. There's also a study published by Cambridge last year. Researchers analyzed the brains of more than 4,000 people and found that the brain goes through several major turning points over a lifetime, around ages 9, 32, 66, and 83. The biggest transformation happens around age 32. But even that isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual process that starts in your teenage years and continues into your early 30s. Throughout those years, both you and your brain are constantly being shaped by your own choices and by the world around you. It's only around age 30 that the human brain becomes something close to a fully mature adult brain. That's why you might notice that you or some of your friends seem to become completely different people around that age. Someone who used to lose their temper over the smallest things can suddenly stay calm and have a peaceful conversation. Someone who could drink all night and stay awake until sunrise now starts to getting sleepy at 11 p.m. Even people they couldn't stand before somehow become easier to understand. That messy feeling in your 20s where nothing seems to fit, nothing feels right, and even you don't quite recognize yourself. That's partly because your brain is still going through its final stages of construction. Your prefrontal cortex is still installing control switches for your amygdala. Long-distance neural pathways are still developing. Connections between neurons are becoming stronger and more efficient. Psychologists call this stage emergent adulthood. Writers often call it the Odyssey years. Up to this point, that's a comforting version of the story. But I want to share a different way of looking at the Odyssey years. I have a friend who's 29 this year. A couple of years ago, he told me he wanted to take a gap year. He wanted to travel, slow down, and figure out the meaning of his life. I thought it sounded like a great idea, and I supported him. A year later, I asked if he'd found what he was looking for. He said he was still searching. Another year passed, I asked again. Still searching. To be fair, he really was trying. He worked 3 different jobs. He went through 2 relationships. He learned a new instrument. He traveled to 5 or 6 countries. Then one day, while we were having drinks, he said something I've never forgotten. He said, "It feels like I've tried so many things. It looks like I have endless options, but somehow I don't actually have the power to choose." The moment he said that, something clicked for me too. I realized that exploration and drifting can look almost identical from the outside, but they are completely different things. Earlier, I mentioned that your brain doesn't finish its biggest reorganization until around age 32. So you might think, I'm only 25 or 26, I still have a few more years to just wander around. Personally, I wouldn't recommend that. Because this is exactly the period when your brain is shaping the person you will become in your 30s. Every job you take, every relationship you enter, every book you read, every failure you go through. None of those experiences are just memories. They literally leave marks on your brain. They carve new neural pathways. Why do some people think like 42 when they're only 32, while others still feel like they're 22? It's usually not about personality. It's about what shaped their brain over those critical years. So if you're feeling lost but you're testing different paths with real hypotheses, you're exploring. Your brain is being sculpted. But if you've given up on making choices and you're only avoiding commitment, then you're not exploring, you're drifting. Your brain is simply going in circles. Nothing meaningful is being built. Why did my friend feel like he had no real choice? Because although he tried many things, He never truly committed to any of them. He sampled them, but he never let any experience leave a deep mark on his mind. He probably thought he was keeping his options open, but the truth is, choosing not to choose is still a choice. In reality, he had already made decisions. He chose to keep wandering. He chose to keep drifting. That idea isn't mine, by the way. It came from a clinical psychologist named Mike J. He once said, giving drifting a romantic name doesn't make it more meaningful. It only makes you feel better about continuing to drift. So whether you call it the Odyssey years or gap year or finding yourself, there's nothing wrong with any of those terms. They are all describing something real. I don't have a problem with the words themselves. The words can't do the work for you. Take time to slow down and organize your thoughts is healthy. Trying different things is healthy too. The problem is when everything stays at a level of just giving it a try. If you don't take it seriously, why would you brain? Your 20s won't wait for you. They pass one day at a time. And before you know it, you're in your 30s. Your brain has largely settled into its adult form. But the version that grew is the one your 20s built. So understand the season of life you're in. Do what this season asks of you as well as you can. That's what earns you the freedom you will enjoy in the next one. Your 20s of trial and error, that's one of the greatest privileges of this age. During those 10 years, your brain is incredibly plastic. It's resilient enough to let you experiment. It's also resilient enough to let you fail. But trial and error isn't a destination. It's how you figure out which path is worth committing to. And once you know, there has to be one thing, one relationship, one direction where you stop keeping the exit door open. Commit to it, stay with it, endure it. Not in the sense of checking a box and saying, well, I give it a shot. I mean, giving it 5 years, maybe 10. Not because you want to be better than everyone else, but because you know deep down that you truly poured your heart into something. That's the day your brain becomes mature. That's a version of yourself you will suddenly recognize one day. So no, you don't suddenly become mature. You simply wake up one day and realize that you already are. And the person you discover is the one who spent years fighting for something that truly mattered. You are not waiting for some magical moment when maturity finally arrives. Every second you spend laughing, every choice you make today, that's a moment already happening. Time waits for no one and no one gets to outrun time. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Yu. Follow me for more to level up your mind.